Title: Shadows Among the Stars. The Galactic Council Chamber was a place of reason and peace, where disputes between starfaring civilizations were resolved through diplomacy. Yet today, the air was heavy with unease. The Council had convened an emergency meeting regarding a matter so dire it had the potential to alter the balance of power across the galaxy. Standing before the Council was Captain Arthra, a seasoned warrior of the Kravath Dominion, whose scaled skin glimmered under the chamber's light. His trembling hands betrayed the terror he felt. "Honorable Council," Arthra began, his voice wavering, "I bring a dire warning about the humans, specifically their special forces." The Council murmured. Humanity, a relatively new species on the galactic stage, was already infamous for their tenacity. But the mention of special forces drew confused glances. "What are these special forces you speak of?" asked Overseer Vlon, glowing faintly. Arthra swallowed hard. "They are elite human warriors. No, not just warriors, shadows. I have seen them in action, and I assure you, their existence is a threat that the Council cannot ignore." Arthra recounted the events that led to his horrifying discovery. His dominion had invaded a small human colony on a distant planet, assuming the conquest would be swift. The humans had no fleet to defend them, no orbital cannons, and no visible military installations. Victory seemed assured. The colony appeared defenseless, Arthra said, but then they came. The initial attack was textbook. Kravath shock troopers landed, overwhelming the human population. For hours, it seemed the colony would fall. But then the lights went out. A coordinated blackout plunged the Kravath forces into darkness. "At first, we thought it was a human blunder," Arthra admitted, until the screams began. The chamber fell silent. In the pitch black, our soldiers were hunted, not in open combat, but systematically. One by one, they vanished. The only warning was a faint sound, barely audible. Humans call it a knife unsheathing. By the time we realized what was happening, over half our battalion was gone. The Council members shifted uneasily. Admiral Crix, his feline features betraying doubt, interjected. "Surely you're exaggerating. A few guerrilla tactics." Arthra slammed his clawed hand on the podium. "And no, this was no random resistance. These humans were trained, masters of stealth and sabotage. They infiltrated our command center, disabled our comms, and planted explosives in our own dropships. They used our technology against us." Arthra continued, recounting how his forces tried to fight back. They deployed thermal scanners, motion trackers, and even autonomous drones to locate the humans. But it was futile. The special forces adapted with terrifying speed, using environmental conditions to mask their heat signatures and exploiting blind spots in the drone's programming. "We thought they were few in number," Arthra said, his voice dropping to a whisper. "But they made it seem like we were surrounded by an army." The Council listened, their unease growing. The Kravath general's tone turned somber as he described his final encounter with the human forces. "They captured me," Arthra admitted, lowering his head in shame. "I expected torture, interrogation, but instead, they let me go. They told me to deliver a message." "What message?" Vlon demanded. Arthra looked up, his slitted eyes wide with terror. "They said we were just training." The room erupted into chaos. Council members shouted over one another, horrified by the implication. If the humans' most elite forces were practicing on a battle-hardened Kravath battalion, what would they be capable of in actual war? As the Council debated, a hollow projection activated in the center of the room. A shadowy figure appeared, humanoid but shrouded in darkness. The chamber fell silent as the figure began to speak. "This is Captain Elias Monroe of the United Nations Special Operations Command," the human said, his voice calm and deliberate. "We intercepted your broadcast and felt it was time for a proper introduction." The Council froze. The humans had breached their most secure communication network, a feat thought impossible. "We understand your concerns about our special forces," Monroe continued. "But know this, we are not your enemy, as long as you leave us in peace. Should you threaten humanity, however..." He paused, his face finally illuminated, a calm, stoic expression. "You will not see us coming, and by the time you realize we were there, it will already be over." The projection ended abruptly, leaving the chamber in stunned silence. The Council adjourned shortly after, but whispers of fear lingered in the corridors. The humans had shown their hand, not through violence, but through a chilling display of control and precision. It wasn't just their special forces that terrified the galaxy. It was the realization that humans had mastered the art of war to such an extent that they didn't need fleets or planetary defenses. Their greatest weapon was their ability to disappear into the shadows and strike when least expected. In the days that followed, the Council declared humanity a species of strategic concern. Alliances were quietly formed to ensure Earth would never feel threatened enough to unleash their shadows upon the galaxy. And yet, the most unsettling truth remained unspoken. If this was how humanity trained, what horrors awaited those who provoked them in earnest?